Hey, Konstantin.
And you're watching another episode of...
Updates. It's Thursday morning coffee edition. This has been one of those weeks where other life takes over.
The other life, which is a silly concept. Like, why would we need other life?
I have no idea.
Me neither, but still it happens sometimes.
I think it has a little bit to do with the fact that we're not independently wealthy.
Dang.
The thing about the life hacks for me is that I really need to be able to focus. I really need to be able to concentrate and not have 28 other things happening in my mind. And I've been getting better at the life hacks. I've been better at being in front of the camera and at, talking about things and really going with a script, not just rambling at you. But I still know that there's a lot I can improve, and I really want to improve, and in order to improve, I need to be able to focus on what I'm doing. So, this week and probably the next week or two, I am going to focus on a lot of work, and on a lot of other stuff, and on a lot of the to-dos that have been, backlogged for a while, so that I can get rid of them, so that I can have a free brain to do good things, is the plan. Now, life just needs to make sure to not, explode any further, because KA is my first priority, and I need it to be that, and I need to be able to afford the time on it, because otherwise I go insane.
But we still have Epiphanies, right?
Speak for yourself, friend.
I still have Epiphanies, right? So the 3.5 viewers that are constantly following these updates know that I am venturing a lot into improv these days. For me, improv has a lot to do with being in the moment, as opposed to being in your head all the time, and which is a concept where you get from all those Buddhist monks. And interestingly enough, from Keith Johnstone, who is the guru of improv theater, and I've been reading a book of his, and there are two main concepts, at least the way I interpret his work, and the one is to be able to overcome your fear, and the other one is to kill your ego, to get out of your head, to get out of the trying to control everything. And you do that the best way when you stop thinking like 6 minutes in the future, or 60 seconds in the future, or even 6 seconds in the future, but instead you focus on the things that are happening just now. And I think for most people in our lives, after a certain social development stage, when you finish with your education, you started your job, and there's some sort of a routine. And this routine drives you into your head. You don't have the need to be constantly aware of your surroundings, and your mind slips into this routine, and you lose a lot of time. You lose a lot of reality because you work on automatic. And improv is a very interesting or beautiful hobby, how to get you back into reality every time. You live 1,000,000 lives every time you step on a stage, ideally. So improv is the perfect hobby to get you into the moment if it's done well. This is my epiphany this week.
I think that a lot of people, for a lot of hobbies would comment that is precisely the same thing. Like if you watch a really good basketball game, I guarantee you that every single one of the people on the court is right there in the moment and is completely open to everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have the exact same kind of mindfulness, of openness to what's happening around, except that instead of being, an intellectual thing of throwing around words and stories and finding rhymes and singing songs impromptu, it's a matter of knowing exactly where every opponent is, where every one of your team members is, having that under control,
Mm-hmm.
knowing where the ball is, knowing where it's going. I think it's probably a very similar kind of mindfulness, and I think probably the same is true really for solo artists. Like, I've seen people paint or draw or make music in a way that is completely open and mindful. And mostly it's a matter of, you're communicating with your instrument or with your colors or whatever, but you're also just very present in your head in that moment. Because it's not just the outside world, it's also the inside. Because you're open to every idea that comes. Like, that was the first thing I learned about improv, is first idea, go with it. Just let it out. It's never going to be bad. Just trust it. And I think that's probably the same thing for solo art, is that you need to be mindful and open to yourself and to your own mind, and just take everything that you get and use it.
I think you're right. I think I need to shift my epiphany to hobbies are good.
Hobbies are good.
Things that get you out of your head are good. Do more of them.
So I've been kind of stressed recently. And I've been trying to, catch up on a lot of things and get a lot done, which is inherently very stressful and takes a lot of effort. And the moment I exert too much effort, I tend to crumble, because that's how anxiety works. And it's great, because it's just very productive to, be super anxious and not be able to move, and you have a lot of shit to do. I think that's where it's hard. For things to flow freely, you need some amount of enjoyment, and for some amount of enjoyment, your brain needs to work enough to be able to enjoy things, which is what sucks so bad about depression, because people tell you that you need to just do more fun things, you just need to do things that are good for you and you'll feel better. And it's kind of a cause and effect fallacy. Like, you assume that I will feel better when I do things that are good, but the thing is, I can't do those things because I don't know how to enjoy things right now. And obviously you still need to do good things, because you'll tend to stumble on enjoyment when you don't really expect it, / you definitely will not stumble in enjoyment if you don't do things. But sometimes you also just need to rest, and sometimes you just need to forgive yourself for having a shitty day, week, month. And the longer the time frames get, the harder it gets, because I am totally okay with forgiving myself for having a shitty day. I am pretty okay with having a shitty week. It's like, you get the flu and you're out of commission for a week, or you get a bout of, brain weasels and you're out of commission for a week. And that's okay, because afterwards you'll, be rested and you're fine and you're going to do better. And that's great. It's when you're not functioning the way you want to function, the way you can function for a longer period of time. Because that always comes with the fear of, is it coming back? And when is it coming back? And what in the world can I do to make it come back? And it's just been rough for a while. Again. And it's overall better than it was. But it's also harder than it's been. I don't know. It's very hard to, classify things, because brains are complicated and not very clean cut and easy to comprehend. I think here's the takeaway message for this week, which is not so much an epiphany as just a thing that I think I want to say. It's been really fun making the depression and anxiety life hacks for precisely the reason why we started out doing KA in the first place, which was to connect to people. And to connect people amongst themselves. And that's easy to forget again when you're, sitting there staring at a camera lens with just a couple people in the room. But what happens after is where, the magic comes in. Because I have been struggling, and I have been, somewhat vocal about it on Twitter, and I've been getting Twitter messages from wonderful, incredible, really sweet people that I do not know, that have found me because of the depression anxiety life hacks. Even with the very few people involved, it's already a very meaningful and beautiful thing, connecting humans and making the world just a little bit better. Which is why, holy good goddamn hell, I need work to, get done with so we can get back to it. Because I want this project so badly. Working on film stuff really is the only antidepressant that has worked for me so far, Which means that, you know, getting to work on film stuff is a medicinal sort of thing that is necessary, and I really should get my doctor to write a prescription.
Yeah, you should, you know, write a prescription for film equipment.
I mean, we can try. Then again, is that something that we want to spend time and energy on? Or is that one of those things that might not lead anywhere? Do you think we might be rabbit-holing into ridiculous things?
No. Ever. We should do that more often. Hello!